Am I the asshole for not stopping my son's girlfriend from kissing him? Last Saturday night, my world turned upside down when my 17-year-old son was in a car accident. A drunk driver in a pickup slammed into his small old convertible, totaling it. Miraculously, he survived, but he's banged up. Multiple broken bones, stitches everywhere, and a long recovery ahead. My wife, our 14-year-old daughter, and I rushed to the hospital, hearts pounding, grateful he was alive. About an hour after we arrived, his girlfriend showed up, still in her work clothes, clearly having dropped everything to be there. The relief on my son's face when she walked in was undeniable. She ran to his bedside, hugged him tightly, and started kissing him, mostly on the lips but also his cheeks and forehead. She stayed for hours, checking on him, holding his hand, and being the kind of supportive partner any parent would hope for their kid. I watched this unfold and felt warmed by their connection. My son, in pain and stuck in a hospital bed, seemed comforted by her presence. She wasn't just there physically, she was fully present, reassuring him, making him smile despite the IVs and bandages. It was clear she cared deeply, and I was honestly touched by how much she loved him. My wife, though, didn't see it the same way. As we drove home that night, after my brother had taken our daughter home, she let me have it. She was upset I didn't tell his girlfriend to stop kissing him, especially in front of family. She called it gross and weird, saying it was inappropriate for her to be so affectionate in that setting. I was baffled. To me, this was a young woman showing genuine care for my injured son. Why would I interfere with something that was clearly bringing him comfort? I tried to explain that our son is heading off to college soon, and this moment showed how strong their relationship is. His girlfriend had rushed from work, still in her uniform, to be by his side. That kind of dedication isn't something you see every day. But my wife doubled down, insisting I should have asked her to leave or at least tone down the PDA. I pushed back, saying our son's happiness and comfort in that hospital bed were more important than her discomfort. I wasn't about to take away something that was helping him through one of the worst nights of his life. She got angrier, telling me I wasn't doing my job as a parent by setting boundaries. By the time we got home, she was barely speaking to me, muttering that I needed to step up. The argument's been eating at me since. I keep replaying it, wondering if I was wrong to let his girlfriend stay and show her affection. Was it inappropriate in front of family? Should I have stepped in to make my wife feel better? I don't think so. My son's well-being comes first, especially after what he went through. But her words have me second-guessing. Maybe I should have been more sensitive to her feelings or considered how it looked to others in the room. Still, seeing my son's face light up when his girlfriend was there felt like the right kind of medicine, and I can't shake the feeling that stopping it would have been cruel. I don't know. It's been a rough week, and I'm trying to figure out if I dropped the ball here. Am I the asshole for not telling my son's girlfriend to stop kissing him? Am I the asshole for giving gifts to my son's half-siblings even though they're not my kids? 8 years ago, a brief fling changed my life forever. I became a father to a now 7-year-old son. His mother was a single mom with 2 other kids at the time, and she's since had another. Things were messy at first. I doubted he was mine until a DNA test proved otherwise. She didn't have the means to sue for child support, but I wasn't about to let my son grow up without my help. I'm in sales, pulling in a solid mid-6-figure income with yearly bonuses, so I sent her $3,000 to $4,000 a month, more than a court would likely mandate. I want to be fair, not just to my son, but to the family he's growing up in. Sometimes she uses that money for her other kids, and I'm okay with that. They're his siblings after all, and I want him to have a good life with them. Whenever I visit, I bring something for my son, maybe a meal, a toy, or recently a Switch 2. But I always make sure his half-siblings aren't left out. I'll bring enough food for everyone or small gifts for their birthdays, like books or games. It's not about being a saint. I just want my son to have strong bonds with his siblings. I know what it's like to feel resentment. My parents favored my younger brother, and our relationship still suffers. I don't want that for my kid. If a few extra bucks or a shared pizza helps them see him as a brother, not a rival, I'm all in. His half-sister, who's 13, is especially great with him, helping with his homework and being a solid big sister. I treat her kindly because she treats my son well, nothing more. The trouble started when her dad, Mark, reached out. He's 36, a decent guy from what I can tell, and trying his best to be a good father. But his daughter's been comparing him to me, saying my gifts are better, or that I'm around more. Apparently, she even said she wished I was her dad. That hit me hard. I never meant to step on Mark's toes. He asked me to stop giving gifts to his daughter and to tell my son not to share his stuff with her. I get where he's coming from. Nobody wants their kid thinking someone else is a better parent, but I also feel stuck. If I stop including her, won't she resent my son? I don't want to create tension in their home. Plus, my son's mother let slip to the kids that my child support helps fund their lifestyle, which complicated things further. I wish she hadn't shared that, but it's done. Now I'm torn. Mark's feelings are valid, but my priority is my son's relationship with his siblings. If I pull back, it might breed jealousy or favoritism, the exact thing I'm trying to avoid. I told Mark I'd think about it, but I haven't changed anything yet. I keep wondering if I've overstepped, making things harder for Mark and his daughter. Maybe I set the bar too high with the gifts and attention. But then I think about my son, and how his siblings will be his family long after I'm gone. I just want to do right by him without hurting anyone else. Is that even possible? Am I the asshole for giving gifts to my son's half-siblings to help their relationship, even if it's causing issues for their dad? Am I the asshole for telling my friend he shouldn't have used AI to write a memorial post? I've been part of a volunteer sports team in my town for a while now, and it's been a great way to connect with people. One guy I've gotten close to runs the club's social media, posting about games, events, and community stuff. He's passionate about it, hoping to turn social media management into a career, and he's always talking about building his resume. He's a good dude, and we've bonded over pickup games and post-match beers. But recently, something happened that's got me questioning if I overstepped. A beloved member of our club passed away not long ago. It hit everyone hard. This person was a fixture, always cheering us on or helping with fundraisers. My friend, as the social media guy, was tasked with writing the memorial post. I was expecting something heartfelt, something that captured the warmth and spirit of this person we all loved. Instead, what went up was a long, generic wall of text that felt off. It was stiff, overly formal, and packed with cliches, classic signs of AI-generated writing. I've seen enough ChatGPT outputs to recognize the red flags. Vague platitudes, no personal touch, just a soulless string of words. It didn't mention specific memories, like the time this person brought homemade cookies to every match or their goofy sideline cheers. It felt like a missed opportunity to honor someone special. I couldn't let it slide. I messaged him privately, saying I thought the post was AI written and that it wasn't the right move for something as personal as a memorial. I was blunt, maybe too blunt. I told him it lacked heart and suggested ways to make AI text sound more human, like adding personal anecdotes or tweaking the tone. I figured I was helping him out, especially since he wants a career in this. A post like that could hurt his reputation if someone else clocked it as AI. But he pushed back, first denying he used AI, then admitting it but saying I was disrespectful for calling him out, especially since it was for a memorial. He said I made him feel like crap during an already tough time. I get why he's upset. I could have been gentler, and maybe I didn't need to say anything at all. It's not like the post was offensive, it just wasn't great. But to me, using AI for something so personal felt lazy, almost disrespectful to the person we lost. I wasn't trying to be a jerk. I just wanted him to see that cutting corners like that could backfire, especially for his career goals. If a potential employer saw that post, they might question his authenticity. Still, I keep wondering if I should have just scrolled past and kept my mouth shut. Was it my place to critique his work, especially on something so sensitive? He's been distant since, and it's awkward at practice now. I hate that I might have hurt him, but I also think he needed to hear it. Maybe I could have found a kinder way to say it, though. Am I the asshole for telling my friend he shouldn't have used AI to write the memorial post? Am I the asshole for calling my husband a disgrace after he said my miscarriage ruined his birthday? Yesterday was one of the worst days of my life. I'm 26 and my husband turned 27. We were expecting our second child, a baby we desperately wanted. At 8 weeks pregnant, I'd just seen the heartbeat flickering on an ultrasound the day before, filling us with hope. But around noon, while playing with our 2-year-old son, I felt a strange pressure in my lower abdomen. Soon after, I noticed bleeding. Panic set in. I texted my husband, telling him I was uncomfortable and bleeding, hoping for support. When I passed what I believed was the fetus, I messaged again, heartbroken. I think I lost the baby. I asked him to come home, explaining the pain and bleeding were worsening, and I was feeling lightheaded while trying to care for our toddler alone. We have no family or friends nearby who could have gotten to us faster. He said he'd come if it's urgent. I told him it was. Our son was unattended in his playroom, and I was struggling. Still, it took him nearly an hour to get home from his job 30 minutes away. I later learned he'd stopped at Tesco to buy beers. Meanwhile, I dragged myself downstairs to take paracetamol, made lunch for our son, and put him down for a nap, all while bleeding heavily and fighting dizziness. By the time my husband got home, I was in bad shape, vomiting, lightheaded, and losing so much blood that he had to rush me to A&E. We didn't get discharged until almost 8 p.m. I was physically and emotionally shattered. Last week, I'd promised to make his favorite dinner for his birthday. In the car, he reminded me of it, but I could barely function. I offered to pay for any takeaway he wanted instead. He muttered, "For fuck's sake," and something about this bullshit ruining his birthday. I was stunned. He didn't get takeaway. He just drove us home. He put our son to bed while I collapsed, too weak to do anything else. The next morning, he left for work without a word. All day, no messages. When he got home, he gave me the silent treatment. I tried talking to him, but he ignored me. In frustration and pain, I called him a disgrace. He slammed our bedroom door and locked me out. His mom texted me, saying I was harsh and should be patient because he's grieving too. She didn't ask how I was, which stung. Now I'm wondering why he's talking to her but not me. I feel utterly abandoned. My body's been through hell, and emotionally, I'm a wreck. I get that losing the baby on his birthday was awful timing, but his reaction, prioritizing beers, muttering about his ruined day, felt so callous. His mom's words make me question if I overreacted by calling him a disgrace. Maybe I should have been more understanding of his loss. But I'm drowning in grief, and his silence is deafening. I'm even wondering if this is grounds for divorce or if that's just the hormones talking. I don't know what to think anymore. Am I the asshole for calling my husband a disgrace? Am I the asshole for telling my parents I'm not changing my name because of their regret? I'm 16, the youngest of my parents' kids, and the only one whose name wasn't picked to please the family. My siblings all got names honoring relatives, as both my mom's and dad's sides wanted. By the time I came along, my parents were fed up with the pressure and decided to choose a name they loved, not one dictated by tradition. So, they named me Sunny with a U, not the sunny spelling some might expect. I've always loved my name. It's unique, bright, and feels like me. They used to tell me how they picked it as a bold stand against family expectations, and I thought that story was pretty cool. It made me feel special, like they chose something just for me. But things changed when I was around 10. I noticed my parents started calling me by my middle name sometimes, which I found weird. I told them I preferred Sunny, and they stopped, but it felt off. When I was 13, they asked if I ever used a nickname. I said no, I liked my name as is. Last year, they brought up how some kids change their names before graduating high school to sound more grown-up and avoid extra costs on things like degrees. I thought it was an odd comment, but shrugged it off, saying it must suck to hate your name. Then 6 months ago, they started suggesting other names out of nowhere. They said I looked like a James, maybe Jamie. I humored them, saying Jamie was fine, but I loved Sunny more. When they suggested Luke, I flat out said no. In June, things got serious. They sat me down and asked if I'd consider legally changing my name. They admitted they felt guilty for giving me what they now called an unserious name, saying it was a big fuck you to their families rather than a thoughtful choice for a man's future. They worried Sunny, cute, light, and hopeful, wasn't fitting for my adult years. I was shocked. I told them I loved my name and the story behind it. I didn't want to change it just because they were second-guessing themselves. They seemed disappointed but dropped it, or so I thought. Last week, they came back with legal name change paperwork and 3 name options they'd picked out. They said they couldn't live with the guilt of giving me a name they now regretted. I put my foot down. I told them my feelings about my name matter more than their regrets, and I'm not changing it to ease their conscience. They argued I should consider their feelings and think about whether Sunny would be taken seriously in the future. Now I'm wondering if I was too harsh. They're my parents, and they clearly feel bad, but it's my name. I love its vibe, its uniqueness, and how it sets me apart. I don't think it's girly or childish. Plenty of guys have unconventional names and do fine. I get that they're worried about my future, but I'm the one who has to live with it. Forcing a change feels like erasing part of who I am just to make them feel better. Still, I hate seeing them stressed, and I wonder if I should at least hear them out more. But I'm not budging. Sunny's who I am. Am I the asshole for refusing to change my name because of my parents' regret? Am I the asshole for requesting that my teacher not pair me with my deadbeat father's daughter? My father walked out on my mom when she was pregnant with me. I'm 16 now, and I've never met him. They were married for 5 years, but he cheated constantly, and when mom tried to divorce him, it was a nightmare. They'd moved away, and he dodged court for the divorce, custody, and child support. He went to jail 3 times for skipping out on payments, even quitting jobs to avoid them. I only know this from mom's stories. He's a stranger to me. About a year ago, he moved back to town with his affair partner and their kids, including a daughter 5 months younger than me and a son a bit younger. I don't know much about his other kids, but I share classes with his daughter, and that's where the trouble started. Last year, she was in one of my classes and tried to connect, saying we're family. I shut it down, telling her we're not related in any way that matters, and I have zero interest in knowing my father's affair family. She got upset, even cried, but I held firm. I don't want a relationship with her or her dad, who abandoned me before I was born. This year, she's suddenly in 4 of my classes, and our teacher assigns a lot of group projects. I didn't want to risk being paired with her, so I went to the teacher, explained the situation, my dad's history, the affair, everything, and asked her to never put us together. She was surprised but agreed it was best to avoid tension, especially for group work. Twice now, my father's daughter has tried to claim me as a partner, once for a 2-person project, once for a larger group. Both times, the teacher stepped in and refused, citing our agreement. She figured out what I'd done and told her parents. They went to the principal, demanding a meeting with me and my mom. Mom went alone, refusing to let me face my father for the first time just to be chewed out. She explained why I don't want contact and how unfair it'd be to force me. The parents claimed I was bullying their daughter and pushed for either a suspension or some buddy program to make me bond with her. The principal didn't buy it, but since the meeting, things have gotten weird. My father's daughter and her brother stare at me constantly at school. Her friends have called me a dick for embarrassing her by not working with her or getting to know her. I get that she might feel rejected, but I don't owe her anything. My father chose to leave me, and she's part of the life he built after that. I'm not trying to hurt her, but I'm protecting my own peace. School's stressful enough without being forced into a fake sibling bond. Still, I wonder if I went too far by involving the teacher. Maybe I could have just dealt with it quietly or been kinder when I turned her down. Her friends' comments make me question if I'm coming off as cruel. But I just want to keep my distance from a past that's not mine. I don't think that's wrong, but the drama's making me second guess. Am I the asshole for asking my teacher not to pair me with my deadbeat father's daughter?